Welcome to Sam's Russian Adventures. I'm Sam, an English guy living in provincial Russia. Now today we're going to be answering the question, are we, the foreigners who make YouTube videos in Russia, are we Russian propaganda tools? Let's go. So I've come here to this like old Soviet basketball court because I thought, well, there's no better place to make a anti-propaganda video than in a Soviet basketball court that looks like this. I mean, how could I make a propaganda video here? Look at it. Now unfortunately it's about to start throwing it down completely. I've really chosen the wrong time to come and make this video. Check out the size of this blackbird. It's massive. So not long ago I saw that one of my favorite YouTube channels has made a video that was made about him, calling him out as a Russian propaganda tool. Now this channel is Real Reporter by my friend Konstantin, an amazing channel I think, but he was called out recently as being Russian propaganda, and I'll put a link to his channel below this video and you can go and watch the video that he's made in response to the video calling him out as a Russian propaganda tool. So I'd like to address the topic today, are we Russian propaganda? And so in order to understand why people say that we're propaganda, we need to understand what makes them say it. And simply put, anything that shows Russia in a positive light, is that considered propaganda? Well, it seems to be so, because in the Western world, let's say Western Europe, NATO kind of aligned countries, well, they portray Russia really negatively. And so if you're living in one of these countries and you're just not really a fan of Russia, but you just watch the news to see what's going on in the world, then you would expect life in Russia to be awful. But the thing is, foreign YouTubers, we show Russia as it is, but that's not what you're expecting to see. You're expecting to see that Russia is a complete shithole. So when we show it as normal, obviously you think, well, hang on a second, what's going on here? This is completely different to what we've seen. So the obvious thing that comes to mind is, well, this must be propaganda. This must be propaganda. It must be staged. It must be a lie. It must be all set up. These people must be being paid by the Kremlin, because that is one of the many comments that I receive on my channel, and I'm sure most other foreign YouTubers in Russia or English-speaking YouTubers in Russia receive these comments about how much do we get paid by Putin? How do we receive our payments from Putin? Are we Russian propaganda? We must be Russian propaganda. And it's just hilarious. Now, on the other hand, is it true that all foreigners in Russia show Russia very positively? Yes, we do. Now, is that considered Russian propaganda? Well, just for us showing Russia in a positive light, the reason we do that is to combat all the negative anti-Russian propaganda that is shown on Western media. If Russia wasn't portrayed negatively in Western media, we wouldn't need to highlight all the positives. I mean, on my channel, I do try to show some of the negatives and some of the positives. I try to show a bit of everything. But generally, most foreigners will show Russia in a very, very positive light. Obviously, good and bad places exist everywhere. And it is true that most foreigners that live in Russia, they show Russia completely positive. And perhaps that's also got something to do with the fact that they're a guest here. So they've come here, they enjoy it, and they show the things that they love. And why would they show the things they hate as a guest in a country? I've been meaning to make a video about what it would be like to be disabled, is that the right word? To be impaired, living in Russia, and to go up and down these. Can you hear the thunder in the sky? It's pretty crazy. And here we've got an old Soviet goalpost with a children's climbing frame behind it. And it's actually a full pitch. Look, we've got another goal over here. One question, of course, that we need to ask ourselves is, if we're showing Russia as really positive and all of us are just showing positive, 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 does that affect how other foreigners think about Russia? if they only see positive content from us, do they think, well, Russia must be heaven on earth, that it doesn't have any problems at all and that everything there is absolutely crazy and absolutely amazing, right? You see, I have this concern a little bit because I've seen the amount of new foreigners that are coming to Russia, and obviously I want people to come to Russia. I love Russia and I want people to come here, but I see a lot of families that are moving to Russia having never actually visited Russia at all. And of course, if you're, a single person, you just come to Russia and you do your thing, it's no problem, right? You can leave. But there's so many stories at the moment of whole entire families moving from the US, for example, and bringing their kids with them and just starting over, selling all their possessions, everything they've got, and starting over again in Russia. And they've never been here. And I think, wow, is this our fault? Obviously, it's a great thing, right? I'm happy that these people are coming here. But at the same time, like, are they watching our videos and thinking, Russia is heaven on earth, there's no problems there at all, everything is absolutely brilliant, and I'm going to relocate, sell all the things, all my possessions I've got, and relocate my entire family to a country that I've never even visited? Because I would have thought that anyone to move anywhere, even if you just move to another town, you'd want to go and check out that town first before you move there. But to sell all your possessions and move your entire family to another country that you've never visited, I mean, these people must be watching our content and thinking, wow, Russia's amazing, there's no problems there at all, everything is absolutely incredible, and therefore they're coming here. So do we have a moral responsibility to also show the good and the bad, the ups and the downs? I mean, I don't try to show that everyone in Russia is millionaires and we all drive Bentleys or whatever, but I do show general day-to-day life, and that day-to-day life is pretty much me and my friends, and my friends are like 50 years old, they're quite successful, they have a good life, and so maybe it gives the impression that everyone here is really, really amazing and happy, because Russia's just like any other country in the world. There's good and bad. Check out some of these bird boxes. Trying to attract the birds. It's about to throw it down here. So look, it's throwing it down, and this guy is doing a workout. I was expecting him to like jump around and twirl around the bar, but he's just doing the workout. Look at this, true Russian man. So the rain has started. I'm stuck in the car for a while. Check out this bird box. So look, I love Russia. I want you to come to Russia. But I think it's also very important for you to read between the lines when you're watching the videos by the foreign people in Russia. Because we're all filming positive content about Russia. That's just kind of how it goes. And so, yes, it is kind of one-sided. But we're not showing lies. We're just showing things as they are. But then at the same time, we're not showing all the bad things. Every country has good and bad, but we don't need to show the bad because we know that the Western media is showing the bad already. So there's no point in us showing the bad because you get to see the bad. You're conditioned to see the bad all your life. So why would you need us to show you the bad? You can go to the BBC and watch the bad. So when I say it's important to read between the lines, what do I mean by this? Well, we take my channel for example. I've lived in Russia for 20 years. So for me, Russia is completely home. So if you see me building a house or, going out with my Russian friends and speaking Russian, well, if you don't speak Russian, that's not going to be the lifestyle that you have initially. Look at this over here, we've got a big heart on the wall and it says Katya s Dnyem Rождения, happy birthday. If you watch, for example, Wild Siberia, Dan, the ex-US Marine that moved to Russia, You might see, wow, life in Siberia is really amazing and I'd love to do that too. And while you can do that, you also need to read between the lines. Dan came to Russia and he met a girl, and she was from that town, and he moved to that town to be with her, and obviously she speaks Russian. She's got her family there, the support network, the ability to do all the things that he couldn't do if he just came to Russia and was on his own, right? Now, I'm not saying that you can't come to Russia, meet a Russian girl and do exactly the same as Dan does, but you need to read between the lines. When you see somebody building a house in Russia and you think, well, I can do that. Well, you can do it, but it's going to be difficult if you're on your own. If you're a fan of the Sasha Meets Russia channel, essentially Sasha is a Russian woman. So she could make the same YouTube channel in America and call it Sasha Meets America in Russian for the Russian audience. And so you need to read between the lines and see these things. Now, I'm not suggesting you're stupid and don't know, but it does concern me the amount of people that are moving to Russia, whole families, without ever coming here. And that's why I'm saying you need to read between the lines. Traveling with Russell, Plastic Russian, Darren's Adventures, all of these guys, they've got Russian wives. So while you watch their content and you think, wow, I could do all the stuff they're doing, well, you could, but it's going to be difficult. If you come here and you don't speak Russian, you don't have a member of family in Russian, you don't have a Russian spouse, it's going to be difficult to do these same things that you're seeing in their videos. Another of my favorite YouTubers, expat American, he brought his whole family to Russia, but his wife is Russian. And so you need to understand that. Yeah, it's an amazing story. He brought his whole family here. His kids, right? 5 kids, brought them all to Russia. Amazing, incredible. But if your family, no one in your family speaks Russian, are you going to be able to repeat that? Are you going to be able to have the same success that they've had? You may have amazing success in Russia, but perhaps you should come here and check it out first and see what you think. Spend a month with your family here on vacation. See if it's difficult to do the things that everyday people need to do to survive in a country. I guess at one point this was some sort of square or some sort of sitting area maybe, or even a pond maybe. Check out that balcony. Now again, I'm not suggesting that these YouTubers are showing false things on their videos. No, they're showing the positive side of Russia, the Russia that they love, the Russia that exists. But you still need to read between the lines, because what I don't want you to do is to come here with false expectations. I want you to enjoy yourself. And I would suggest coming to Russia for a holiday and seeing what you think of it, instead of making a quick move. Now, obviously, there's people that have made successful moves. If you look at Countryside Acres, right, their channel is incredible, it's exploded, they get loads of views, and they've had lots and lots of help. But for every Countryside Acres, there's going to be other families that are going to move here and are not going to receive the media attention that Countryside Acres received. And therefore, they're not going to have that support structure and network that Countryside Acres have in Russia. And again, I'm not trying to put a dampener on moving to Russia. I want you to move to Russia. I just want you to read between the lines. I love this tree. The smell is incredible. And what have we got here? Is this a playground or clothesline, or maybe a combination of both? Wow, There's a scary doll in there on the side, look. Huh. So back to the topic. Are foreign YouTubers, English-speaking YouTubers in Russia, Russian propaganda, paid by the Kremlin? Well, if only it was that way, eh? As you know, it's very difficult to make money on YouTube in Russia, let's just say that. Just leave it at that. But all we're doing is showing the truth. The truth as we see it, living our lives in Russia, showing the things that we do. And yes, that is going to be different to what you're shown on the news. Of course it is. Now, one thing's for sure, if you watch any foreigner who creates content in Russia, you can see that we're happy, that we enjoy our lives here. I mean, the sad thing is that instead of accepting that us foreigners who live here and make videos showing life in Russia as truth, you'd rather believe that we somehow maybe walk around the studio and we're paid to make fake content by the Kremlin. Now, which is the more conceivable? The fact that we just came here, we're showing you real life in Russia, or that we're being paid by the Kremlin to make fake content and that Russia's a horrible, horrible place? It's just insane, isn't it? But that's what it's come down to, because the amount of brainwashing that goes on in Western media, that people who live in the West, who have never been to Russia before, would rather believe that Russia's a horrible place and just ignore everything that we show, rather than just accept that it might not be the case. I mean, isn't that a bit crazy to think that the 100 foreigners who have YouTube channels in Russia and showing life in Russia, well, we're all getting paid by the Kremlin. We've all somehow been paid to come here to make YouTube videos, and we're all in some sort of giant studio like, what was the film called? The Truman Show. Look at this, on the garage here it says Lenin 1870 to, well, 00 is it? And it's got the how and sickle. I'm gonna go around the town and test out these ramps on my wheelchair that I actually bought a year ago. So again, it's up to you. Believe what you see on camera, believe what the camera shows, or believe what you see in the media in the Western world. You can decide at the end of the day. If I tell you something's propaganda or it isn't propaganda, who am I to tell you that? You need to use your own mind, research independently, and decide for yourself what you think is propaganda or not propaganda. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I love making this type of video. It's really easy for me. No translation work to do, just kind of walking around, 20 minutes, speak to the camera, film something and upload it. So if you like this type of video, I'll make more of it because it seems to be quite popular on YouTube. Please leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel if you like it, and also you might want to join my Telegram chat group. It's free to join. You can write messages in there, ask me any questions, and it's where I show kind of like daily life in Russia, just on a daily basis, the things I do and the places I go to. So again, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.